Hello, can you see and hear me? I hope so. When I get a confirmation that you can see and hear me, then I'll start talking. This is Heather. I'm here at Beading Dreams in Dallas, Texas. I am filling in for Allison tonight. She is here and fully capable of teaching. I just offered to for reasons unknown. But welcome. I did throw myself. I think it's because I felt bad. I'm going to be out of town this weekend. So I think that's what happened there. So tonight I'm going to be teaching a different version of this necklace that I have trapped myself in. Oh yeah, train detail parts, good times. Alright, so today we're going to be learning how to do a boho 2-strand knotted necklace. Hi Tallyfat! And so these are little beads. I'm going to be using bigger beads today. Yes, it's me. It is me teaching because everybody liked my class. And yeah, 15s and 18s. I mean, you can get really small with them seed beads. So we're going to be using, actually I'm going to be using 4 strands, but it's just because they're doubled. I love with this particular technique to mix up different beads. You can absolutely use all the same bead because this is a great way to give you a little bit of extra length with a single strand. Yes, I was actually kind of hoping to give her a little more time to put together the podcast, but she shocked me with the script earlier. So stay tuned.
Go put together food for her.
Now she's going to go eat, so we're all really happy about the eating part. I know I am, and I know you are too, because all of us really love our Allison and want to take care of her. So,
Also, she makes more sense when she eats.
well, yeah, all of us make more sense when we eat. Yes. So, I'm teaching this technique. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on the stringing part. I've pre-strung almost all of my beads because that part is really easy and boring. So, I'm going to start just by telling you essentially what you need for the class, and then I'm going to string a few beads so I can show you what I'm doing, and then I'm going to actually start knotting the necklace. If I don't just trap myself, okay, this is trapped in my hair and we're just rolling with it because I'm not going to take the time to get it out of my hair. That is hilarious, like seriously. It's anyway. So ooh, that sounds awesome, Julie. I'm not having a cookie for supper, and I'm a little sad. Yeah, the hair does want beads. So I'm using tonight Chinese knotting cord, which is a favorite of mine for this particular technique because I like to buy it in big spools because I have a habit. And okay, y'all, they're talking about food, Allison. I know you're not surprised.
I'm not surprised that our stream is talking about food.
No.
Because our stream really likes to eat.
They really do. It really does.
It really does.
They really
do.
They really do.
Yeah. Okay, speaking of, I'm going to go eat. I will be back.
Okay. So I've got 0.4 millimeter, and this is little tiny, so I'm doubling it, but I really like this color with the beads that I chose. So I've got kind of a golden toffee colorway going on. I like this kind of, they refer to this as burnt orange, and there's nothing burnt orange about it. It's a little bit darker than it's showing on the screen right now, but not really a lot. It's, if anything, it's frozen creamy orange. I don't know where they were going with the burnt orange part, but I have about 2 dreamsicle orange. Yes. So I went about 2 wingspans with this because I'm doing 24 inches of beads. So yeah, it's kind of an amber orange. So I'm doing 24 inches of beads, and this doesn't, I don't necessarily need triple the length with this technique when I've got bigger, chunkier beads. Triple the length is always a good idea when you have small beads, but in this case I'm going about 2.5 times what I want, and then I'm doubling it. So I've got a twisted wire needle, so I'm just gonna put the string on the needle, try not to get it completely stuck in my own clothes. I am my own worst enemy apparently today, which is very exciting. So I'm gonna get the needle on there, so now it's doubled with a needle. But surprise, I'm not actually using this piece to string things on, I'm using the other one. So I'm also going to use a bobbin. This is a wonderful thing if you are working with any kind of thread. These little guys are so good to help keep things organized. So they just pop in and out. And we learned about them from kumihimo, because if you do a lot of kumihimo and you're doing longer pieces, you want these to help wrangle all the cord at the end. But they're also great for really all fiber art, so we use them just all the time now. So I've got most of my beads pre-strung. Here is my wire needle. And I have a mess, but that is, you know, par for the course. That is how we do it here at the Beading Dreams. And I'm just going to string the rest of my beads. These are not in any particular order. If I had a pattern, I would obviously want to string them in that order, but these are just kind of random, however I want them to look. I like to purposefully mix them up. You don't have to. This is your project. You can do whatever you want. I have several random mixed up strands actually from our own wall. This is mostly Indian glass with a little bit of Czech glass and Chinese glass thrown in. So once I get this untangled, then I will begin. Now I've got all my beads on the cord, and I will tell you an unfortunate secret, which is that untangling your beads is always part of this project because it's just a lot of cord, and that's okay. It's going to be even more untangling tonight because I've given myself a challenge, because we don't have the color cord that I want for this project in a bigger size. So I had to double it so it wouldn't, because 0.4 millimeters is really small for these beads. I mean, you can see how small the cord is doubled with the beads. So you can choose your cord. I mean, it's very strong cord, but not all of these beads have amazingly smooth holes. So I want to make sure that I'm not going to give myself issues down the line just by trying to make it easier for myself today. And at the end, you can either, when you string, you can either tie a slip knot as I did, or you can not untie the slip knot. That's also fun and a cool game. You can tie a slip knot, or you can use a bead stopper, or you can use a piece of tape or something like that. This is a slip knot, or it was a slip knot. Now it's just a knot. The name of the cord is called Chinese knotting cord. The brand is not important necessarily, because there are a lot of cords out there that are labeled as Chinese knotting cord. It is a nylon polyester blend, and I really love it because it burns and melts. And we are just going to cut that off because that is going to take more time than I have to offer tonight. So we're just going to cut that end off and pretend that never happened. So I'm starting at the open end. I've got all my beads strung on the needle end. Yes, as long as it doesn't burn and melt on us, which I have done and I would definitely not recommend. It's not the best. So what I'm going to do to begin is I'm going to knot all 4 of these cords together to form an end. So I'm just going to tie an overhand knot. So I'm going to gather all 4 of them together. I'm going to cross. I usually cross underneath to make a loop. Sorry, can't see where the camera is. I'm going to bring the end through the loop. Now I've tied a knot with my fingers, and I can use my fingers or tweezers or whatever to manipulate where this knot goes. You can see I can slide it in either direction. So I'm going to leave myself a little bit of a tassel because I am making a lariat in this case. So I want a little bit of an end. I'm going to add some little beads there when I'm done with the knotting. So now I have tied a knot. The beads won't fall off, which is nice. So I'm going to move a bead down into place, and you can see that I've got one set of cords inside the bead and one set of cords on the outside of the bead. And I'm going to tie another overhand knot. So overhand knots are the theme of the night. Overhand knots you will all recognize from most knots that we've tied. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to scoot my bead up toward my knot, and I'm going to make a loop. I cross underneath. I'm going to let the loop or the end with the bead just drop up and over so it goes through the knot that I've made. So now I have a knot with my bead on the outside of the knot. And now I want to just tie all of my cords together into a knot, and you can very precisely place it on top of your bead if you like, or you can space it out a little bit more. I'm going to space it out a little bit more to give myself some extra length. You can space it out as much as you want to give yourself extra length. And what I did there was I stuck and I'll show you again, I stuck my tweezers through the knot, gripped the cord that I knew we were going to knot around, and that helped me place my knot. So now I've got my bead securely in between 2 sets of cords. So I'm going to move another bead up into place, and I hold right underneath the bead. So I'm manipulating just pretty much that bead. I don't pay attention to anything that goes past it. So I go underneath, and I bring my loop back up and over the top. So I drop my bead down through the knot that I've made. So now I've got another bead. I'm continuing my path. No, the string is just really shiny. There are metallic colors of the string. Yes, there absolutely are. So yes, you can do this with metallic colors, and I have, and it's lovely. It's awesome. I do not have any right now with me. That's not true. I do have some with me, but I will get them later if time permits. If not, then I will post pictures on Discord. So if anyone could post the Discord link, that would be amazing. All right, so I've got my knot tied. So once again, if I want to use tweezers, I can. I don't have to. I can just use my fingers for this, but I like tweezers, so I'm going to just put the tweezers through the loop of the knot that I made. Thank you, Corvus. And I'm going to grab the cord about where I want my knot to go, and then I'm going to tighten my cords around my tweezers. Now, since there are 4 cords, it is okay if you get a little cord lump. You can pull each cord individually to tighten it. See, I've got a little lump there, so what I can do is just figure out by pulling gently which cord that is. There it is. And I can get that knot out, or the little lump out. I love this project because it does not require any precision. I really can't get this too far wrong, because none of the beads are alike, and therefore none of my knots have to look alike. And that's the key to knotting. While you're getting the hang of it, that's why when we teach pearl knotting, we teach with fairly Baroque freshwater pearls. So if the pearls are not perfectly round, and if the pearls do not need to look perfectly straight, or they're gonna be more forgiving for your first time, which is really nice. So if you are still practicing knotting and you're still having some trouble placing your knots, then don't stress over it. Just practice with less perfect beads. If you aren't perfect, less perfect is better for you. So I just keep doing this. I keep making a knot and then tightening the knot. And the faster I go, the easier it is not to get things tangled as far as tying the knot goes. Remember, I'm really keeping a little pressure on this bead to push it down to the last knot while I'm doing this process, so I don't get any weird lumps in my extravaganza of cords I have going on. I love to do this with mixed strands. I love to do it with not mixed strands. I apparently love to decorate my hair with these as well. So, you know, it's fun. I also typically will leave a needle on the end while I do this, and I do that for a couple of different reasons. One is if I need to change anything, if I need to add any beads because this isn't the length that I want, or anything along those lines, I have that option, which is very nice. And the other is because I'm going to need a needle to put the little tassel beads on at the end. And I will tell you that it is easier to keep track of a needle if it has a flag of string on it. So luckily these wire needles are not sharp, so if you manage to stab yourself with them, you are even more impressive than me. Like, I can stab myself with all kinds of things. I have cut myself with a safety letter opener. I have drawn blood from ice cubes in my freezer. I can do all kinds of things. I have a scar from stabbing myself with chain nose pliers, because, I mean, why wouldn't I do that? But I cannot hurt myself with a twisted wire needle thus far. So all bets are off. It may happen someday. So far, not so much. But I love doing this. And the nice thing is you can pre-string all your beads. So this is a great travel project, as long as you keep it either wrapped around something or on a bobbin. Do not travel with this just in a bag, because you won't get to play with it. You'll just get to untangle it. That's not as much fun. Trust me on that one. So you see that I'm gaining length very quickly with this. I've already got probably a good 8 to 10 inches. That's true, Ace. If it's meant to be, it will happen while I'm streaming. If the twisted wire needle is into drawing my blood, it will happen tonight while I'm on. So stay tuned for possibly blood and guts or not. I doubt it, but one never knows. If it gets a taste for blood, then all bets are off. So tonight we have the taping of our newest episode of our podcast. But if you are a podcast person and you have not actually caught up on all of our podcasts yet, guess what? We're on Spotify, because Corvus is amazing, and Corvus has helped us edit these together and get them posted up on Spotify. So we will be on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. And first 2 episodes are up on Spotify already. My family has listened. Spotify and Apple, okay. Well, the tapings are live on YouTube though, right? Still, even though they're not edited, correct? good vibes. But yes, Corvus is amazing for doing that for us. My family has listened and they love it. Jeff said, this is so much your thing. Jeff is my brother. Said, this is so much your thing because you just get to talk, and knowing a whole bunch about random stuff is so useful. I was like, yeah, that's how that goes. And one of my game friends who doesn't know me as well, not one of my close game friends, he's never watched the stream or anything like that, but he said he wanted to listen to the podcast because he loves podcasts. So he listened, and I didn't tell him which one I was, and he immediately guessed. Like, he guessed within the intro which of us I was, which is hilarious to me. He said, you have to be, he said, you're not Allison because this and this and this and this. So you have to be Heather. I was like, yes, you are correct, sir. Good job. Yes. But I thought that was pretty funny that he's never heard my voice, had no idea what I looked like, still has no idea what I look like, and just listened and immediately knew who I was. So that's funny. My mom said that she liked to hear me laugh. How do you pronounce that? Good vibes? That looks Welsh, except not enough L's. Is this the fat rat who rode home in your pocket with the lettuce? Because we're already big fans of that fat rat. And Bonkers is an excellent rat name, I have to say. Corvus sent me a really awesome video of African rats who are trained to go into buildings and rescue people, and they wear little vests that they can summon human rescuers with. They can... You did say that, Corvus. I hope that's a good thing, since it's stuck there. But the rats in the video are so freaking cute. I mean, they're also so freaking giant. I mean, they are big. But I think that would make me less scared of them. Like, I feel like I'd be less scared of a giant spider than a little one, because I could see it coming. I mean, not if the giant spider behaved the way a normal spider did, didn't try to attack more, because real spiders don't want to attack, they just want to hang out. And if a giant spider just wanted to hang out in my house, then, it could definitely have whatever corner it decided it wanted to live in, obviously. Oh no! Fatty Bonkers. I did love Corvus's favorite comment though. What was it, Corvus? See, I feel like even in a traumatic situation, I would be like, that rat is wearing a vest. Am I hallucinating? Is this what's happening now to me? I think I'd be more bemused than anything else. Oh goodness. Yeah, if I even see a spider, I get itchy. Just power of suggestion is real strong. I'm not even going to need all the beads I put on here, which is fine and dandy. Sometimes, especially when the beads are this nice and chunky, and oh my goodness. Allison brought me treats. Because Allison's the best. You should all have an Allison.
Okay.
But you can't have mine. This one's mine.
There's no vegetarian sushi, so
Got it.
that instead.
Well, that is amazing looking and smelling. It wafted toward me as you walked away. It's nice. Oh, it's not even a drink. It's a treat. Hi, Silvern. It's actually like a falafel Mediterranean platter. So it's got dolmadas and it's got falafel and other things. It ran away. Hummus and pita.
Tabbouleh and other stuff.
Tabbouleh.
And I just got soy sauce everywhere.
And apparently Allison is throwing soy sauce.
Because I'm amazing.
Well, are you as amazing as I am with my necklace literally stuck in my bun?
Well, I mean, I made a pretty spectacular mess over here.
Well, okay. I can't go see it, so we'll just have to agree that we tied.
You'll be able to smell it when you come over here.
Ooh, Tallyfet got a new bed frame.
Yay! That's exciting.
Oh, goodness.
You know that this particular thing I got has secret avocados, so you need to like extract them.
Oh, got it.
Also, they have raised their prices.
Bye, Tallyfet. Well, you could have not gotten me a treat.
Oh no, your treat was much less expensive than mine.
Oh, I see.
But things are more expensive done by you.
Well, I have a feeling that their actual costs have gone up just like ours have.
I am pretty sure you're correct.
But, you know, the stock market's good, so
So
There-
everything,
so everything's great for everyone.
but there's a giant piece of avocado here if you want it.
I would like a giant piece of avocado,
Yeah,
yes.
it's good, 'cause I have one.
Okay, sweet. Alright, I've made a mess. Give me a second to untangle. I got too excited by Mediterranean food.
Sorry.
Oh, that is amazing, Julie. That's hilarious.
Did Julie get her Facebook account back?
Julie, did you get your Facebook account back yet? I don't want a world with no Julie on Facebook. I mean, this is just the reality of the situation. Julie is able to be on as Lee McCarthy.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is Julie's backup account.
Exciting.
Just paid more for these other sushi things. Oh well.
Sorry.
That's not your fault.
Well, no, it's
That's
not.
Sam's.
But I can be sad for you. Allison's sushi has hidden babos.
Well, that's not so much the problem, because I took those out, but I should have just paid the extra money for the sashimi platter.
Ah. Sometimes one should. See, it does not help that, yes, giving sympathy, not taking blame, exactly. Your driver's license is not proof enough. Okay. What in the AI heck? Yeah, one of the downsides of having so many Japanese friends in the game is that one thing we all like to talk about with each other is food. And so they are all very excited when they find out I love sushi, and then they're like, oh, you know of taiyaki? Oh, excellent, wonderful. And so then I'm just hungry all the time in the Japanese alliances. Food is awesome. My stepdad sent my brother and me this video from YouTube that's one of those compilations of different machines and how cool they are and what they do. And it was 23 minutes long, and I watched every second of it and did not realize it was 23 minutes long until it was pretty much over. And I was like, wow, that was 23 minutes long? Because just watching machines is amazing. They've got some really cool ones too. I liked the one, what made me think of it was they had one that was designed to take essentially a pat of dough filled with bean paste and press it into beautiful shapes for mooncakes. So they want your your weight is, of course, still 7 pounds 5 ounces. Yes. So Julie says they want her birth certificate, which has almost no info that matches her current info except her weight. Yeah. Oh, good vibes. That is exactly the correct time to have breakfast, according to your personal clock, which we now know. And Silvern, I love that. That sounds amazing. Silvern went and got to the Japanese market and got dim sum, or din din and lunch meals, and it was so tasty.
Yes. Kelly.
Yes.
Though I do have soup dumplings in my freezer. I'm really that desperate.
I like how you say soup dumplings if you're that desperate, as though one must be in any way desperate to love soup dumplings.
You know how picky my stomach is these days.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
So, as you can see, this gets long really fast. So this is necklace length. I'm just gonna do a few more probably. I want to make it long enough so it can be a lariat. But you can absolutely do this with a clasp as well. And I like to do it 2 different ways. I like to do just tied onto the clasp with a half hitch, which is absolutely something you can do. Or you can do it essentially like you would do with the bullion finish, where you go through the end bead and then through the clasp and then back down through the end bead. And yes, these are wonderful layering pieces because you can make these pretty chunky or delicate depending on the beads. And the chunkier ones I especially love if you want chunky, because this doesn't weigh anything, because it's definitely a lot of cord. It's more cord than you have beads, really, so I love that. And yes, we do enjoy taking field trips together to the Japanese/Asian markets, because the markets up in Richardson
My
are...
bank account does not. Like,
Well, no, we don't actually do that because we are not allowed unsupervised on our current budgets at these
but
places.
The conveyor belt sushi place is right there, and Daiso.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I mean, it's bad enough that Daiso is... There's now... So if y'all aren't familiar with Daiso, it is essentially like a Japanese dollar store, kind of. But it's full of adorable little Japanese things. You can get the cutest little kawaii things. You can get the cutest little containers. You can get so much stuff. And the containers are always what get me, obviously, because I like to pretend that the right container will make me organized. It's a lie. It's a lie. That's not how that works, boys and girls. People of all flavors. Containers are not actually the secret. They pretend to be. Yeah, Silvern also cannot go to Daiso unsupervised, so that makes me feel better, Silvern.
Yeah.
We're
Daiso
glad.
bad.
Yeah,
Daiso
Daiso
scary, Daiso dangerous.
Yeah. Daiso wonderful, but Daiso dangerous. Yes. But my Japanese friends also really enjoy that I know Daiso, so I like to collect more and more things to talk to them about, which is fun. One of my Japanese friends is obsessed with casinos now, so this is new knowledge for me. I don't think it's new for him to be obsessed with casinos, but I know about it now. But he does it the safe way. He will watch YouTube videos of people at casinos, which I think is very safe. Speaking of, I'm going to Vegas this weekend, y'all. It's not a surprise anymore, so I can say it. Even if Lux is on. And luckily, I can't gamble because I have like $6 to my whole name. So. One of my other game friends who is in LA actually really wanted to drive up and decided not to. But if you want to meet me in Vegas, I am in Vegas, y'all. This weekend, I'll be there Friday through Monday. So you know how to get in touch with me. And I'm going to have a great time. We're going to go to a Cirque show. I don't know which one. I'm not in charge. I'm part of the gift. So I am just going to be there and be awesome is the plan. Family bonding time this weekend is also good. And besides, I mean, what's the point in meeting me if you don't also get to meet Allison? We're like a pair. Inseparable pair. Alright, so this is long enough. Almost. I'll add a few more. I have time. I have time to add a few more. "14 pages of deaf culture homework." Wow. So when I was a teenager in my church youth group, we had a sign language troupe, and we would do interpretations of songs. And my teacher, or the leader, was actually an interpreter, a certified interpreter, and we had a deaf church in town that we would visit sometimes on Wednesday nights. And the church was fascinating because the pastor was born hearing and had lost his hearing. So he actually did the speaking and someone else interpreted, but as an actual deaf person himself, it added an extra layer. I mean, it's very different being born without hearing and being born hearing and then transitioning to being deaf. I know that that's very, very different, but it was interesting that the community had, and of course all of them were sweet as could be and would come talk to us and interact as much as we could. They would let us practice our signing, which was terrible, and it, like going to France and hoping that they let you order all the way in English or in French without just switching to English. They were deaf church. Ha! No, they were wonderful. It was really, there were so many sweet people there. I had so much fun with that. I thought about studying more ASL and I just didn't have time, but I should make time at some point in my life because it's such a beautiful language and there's just so much to it. Oh yeah, I bet, Julie, I bet that is quite strange. Good vibes fixed the Wi-Fi by throwing her brother off the game and then reset it. Alright. So now I'm going to add my tassel. So I've got a bunch of beads, got them all tied. It's not super long, but that's okay because we want to create projects that we can finish within a reasonable amount of time here on the stream. So I'm just going to cut myself enough space to make a little tassel there. Now I need a needle, and I've got some little beads that I'm going to put on my tassel ends. I don't put big rounded or bulbous beads in any way on my tassel ends because that really you told Bonkers to go chew his wires. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. But putting big beads on the end just ties everything in knots. This does not as much. So what I am doing is putting little beads. I like to use seed beads and other small beads. So I'm just going to use the same twisted wire needle. You can open it back up with an awl or the end of your tweezers. Carefully, no stabbing. Or when you try to pull the beads on, your string will fall out, and that's fun too. Is Bonkers chewing his wires, or is Bonkers just doing his own thing? Because that's what fatty rats do. Oops. Alright, so I've just got a little set of beads on the end, and all I'm going to do to tie them on there is tie an overhand knot, but in this case I usually tie a double overhand knot, so you just pull the end through more than once because it makes a slightly bulkier knot. I want to make sure, do a tuck test, make sure the beads don't pop off. And that would be how I would do every end. I may not do every single end because we do have our podcast stream coming up, which is going to be amazing. We're going to be talking about the Sancy diamond tonight, and that is again a very interesting story. Allison has quite the knack for finding interesting jewelry stories. It seems like most old jewels have an interesting story, and this one is, there are no alien abductions, but I think that might be the only thing it's missing. So, and you know, it still exists. There are brigands. I mean, who's going to argue with brigands? If you do argue with brigands, I don't want to know you.
I don't think you're going to survive.
It depends on who you are arguing with the brigands. That's true. And I don't really worry about making sure that these are all the same length because it adds a little depth if they are not. I also don't worry about carefully tiering them because they're never going to hang exactly the right way. Allison and I both recommended those, the Wisteria Society, because we both love those. But yes, they're wonderful. I love those books. Love them.
The fact that they play houses is awesome.
I know. So as far as book recommendations go, Keiko, you can rest assured that if one of us recommends it, the other one probably also does. So you don't have to, and both of us will.
Always take any of Mary's book recommendations.
And always take Mary's, yes.
So she's the best.
Mary is the best in so many ways, really.
I mean, no offense, Heather, but she's a librarian.
I know. Well, everyone in my family is confused that I'm not, so.
She's got the book superpowers, and you've got the book superpowers. But
I'm not credentialed, though. I'm an amateur book superpowerist.
and also she gets to use the book superpowers as her full-time job.
Yeah.
So, as you know, with your beading superpowers, it makes them better.
It does. That's awesome, Keiko. Sounds like you're enjoying it, at least.
I don't remember where I took this from. I think it was there. If I put it back in the wrong place, I probably...
It's very carefully organized over there, ma'am.
Well, I know, but I don't want to put the thing back in a place where you don't know where it is.
So this, I feel, is a... Well, I get that, but at least it's bright red, so it's easier to... this is a fun way to use bugle beads if you have some lying around, because I like the length of the bead on the tassel. And I've been itching to do a bugle bead so there's my little tassel. I can cut off the ends and burn them. Well, one can be highly influenced by one's Candy Crush level. I fully understand that. So I don't know where there's a flame device right here, so I'm gonna not burn right this second. But we're all gonna pretend that I did. Actually, I see a flame device, so I'm gonna do that too. And not burn the camera. So,
You need a burning device?
I've got one. I found one in your drawer.
Yeah.
Allison's got fire in her drawers. So, when you are using a burning device, you want to make sure, this kind of burning device, a lighter, you want to make sure that you hold it straight up and down when you make the flame come out. You do not tilt it. That's bad. That's bad. Hold it straight up and down, and I'm holding it away from cameras. That's why it's on the face cam. And you take the thing you want to burn and bring it close to the flame until it melts. And with this particular cord, because it does melt, so let it melt down, and then I flip the lighter over and just kind of seal it with the bottom of the lighter. That way I'm not touching the melted part. So this is just to seal the knots so they won't come untied. Everyone thinks it's too much information that you have flames in your drawers.
Well,
Fire in your drawers.
oh, just wait till we talk about the fancy diamond then.
Right?
So spoiler alert, I do not have the salty diamond in my drawers.
No, Allison does not have the Salty Diamond in her drawers.
I wish.
No, I don't think you want it in your drawers. Just in your possession, yes, but not in your drawers.
I mean, the last time it was sold, it was for $1 million. If it had to be in my drawers, I would take that.
So I've got my little tassel, and here's my Lariat. And I love how it turned out. What do you think? Is it beautiful? I just sort of...
I think it's beautiful. Yay!
Yay! So, there you go. And Allison approves too, which is always a good thing, because Allison is usually approving of me, but you know, it's fun. So, anyone have any questions while I'm still... No, Allison does not have $1 million draws. If she did,
I wish.
then we would all
Then
be
our
going to
trip would be
Vegas, and
way
we'd take you
fancier.
with us. And Silvern's family, so she could still bond. That's how it goes. I get a yacht
You
too.
need to continue on your personal development.
Oh, Siri.
Apparently Siri has thoughts.
Siri is getting personal. So anyway, that is a knotted boho lariat, and I love this technique. I use it a lot. It's just one of my favorite things to do. It's such a good travel project, like I said. Really, really enjoy it. So I hope you enjoyed it as well. Come back to... My name is Heather. I am here from Beading Dreams in Dallas, Texas. We are a brick and mortar actual retail store, still here, in Dallas, Texas. And I can't really stand up because there's no room for my feet in the camera area, but like that. Yeah, there's stuff directly underneath me because those of you who've seen this area know that it is shockingly tiny, and Allison is smaller than I am, so I am squoze in here as much as possible.
I mean, to be fair, I also have to squoze in there, so.
Well, I know. I don't think Allison could have stood up any better than I did, but...
Alright, it's time for Heather to eat, and then
Yeah.
we will be back.
Yes.
Don't forget, Twitch
Don't
does
forget.
not always notify you.
So, 20 minutes, we will be here for the podcast. And we're talking about the Sancy Diamond. If you miss it tonight, then never fear. It will eventually be on Spotify as soon as Corvus's fast little fingers and giving little ears can help. And thank you so much for being with us tonight. And we look forward to seeing you really soon. I'm going to post on Discord to remind everybody in case Discord and Twitch fail you. So stay tuned on your personal devices.